And there was this little kid, and he had these big boogers under his nose, and he was dragging his foot, and I felt very helpless. I didn't like that. That kid, it couldn't have ended well for that kid. I don't know what his problem was, but it just haunts me thinking about that kid, like what happened. He was bad things. It wasn't like they were going to give him a penicillin shot.
What's going on, guys? Time for another episode of Behind the Uniforms. If you've never seen the show before, the way it works is this. We invite veterans, emergency responders, active, retired on. They tell you about a good day, about a bad day. We talk about what they're doing now. You share the video because America. Tell them who you are.
So my name's Paul Murray. I live in Jupiter, Florida, and I used to be in the Navy EOD program. And then I did bomb disposal about 20 years all over the world as a civilian.
Oh, no big deal.
No big deal.
Navy, EOD.
As one does.
Awesome.
So now I own a dive company in Jupiter. I work under yachts.
Awesome. Did you put bombs under those yachts? I mean, it seems like a natural progression.
Right. There's some people that owe me some money. It could happen.
ASR, you want to tell everybody who they are too?
Yeah, ASR, Active Shooter Response. It's a company we've started. I'm one of the founders. And we have a alert system that we plug phone numbers into it, strategic people. If there's an active shooter in that area, within 3 seconds of hitting that alarm, all those people get a text. So think of strategic people, chief of police, director of security. If it's a school teachers, the policemen that are assigned to that school, and we can get a good guy with a gun against a bad guy with a gun.
Well, it's
ASAP.
Crazy, man. We were looking at some of the videos earlier where you saw, and God forbid, an active killer situation in a school where people are just trying to get to safety. They don't have time to necessarily call 911,
Right.
And something like this is a cool option.
Right, absolutely. And if you look at the, the Waffle House shooter,
Yep.
the 911 sent the police to the wrong Waffle House.
That's crazy.
And
Well, this avoids that.
Right, that can't happen.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about you. You want to talk about a good day first or a bad day first?
I guess we'll start with a bad day.
All right, and on a high note?
Yeah, let's end on a high note. So I'm in Cambodia, in a minefield, and it was in, there's different kinds of poor people. So there's poor people, but they still have a smile on their face.
Yep.
We were in an area very poor, people not so happy. And there was this little kid, and he had these big boogers under his nose, and he was dragging his foot, and I felt very helpless. I didn't like that. That kid, it couldn't have ended well for that kid. I don't know what his problem was, but it just haunts me thinking about that kid, like what happened. He was bad things. It wasn't like they were going to give him a penicillin shot.
When you were in Cambodia and other parts of the
Mm-hmm.
world, what did you miss about America the most?
That's a good question. I ask foreign people that, and I say, if you had to go back to your country, what would you miss about America? But when I'm in those countries, I miss Americans, and we were just talking about that as well. People have when we speak off the cuff, and we throw it around a little bit. We have body language and facial expressions, and they're very literal in these other countries.
Sure.
So it's very difficult to communicate in many ways, even though they speak English.
Mm-hmm.
They're just very literal, and you get a lot of something goes sideways, and I always go, what the hell are you guys? And they go, but you said, and then you're like, all right, you're right. Sure. I said that, but okay, now everybody come here, let's talk about it again now. And then you have to go over everything, and especially in the bomb business, you got to get that shit right.
Yeah, I mean, tell me a little bit about being in the bomb business for 20 years,
Yeah.
you said? Well, first of all, how do you get into that? And
Okay,
why?
well,
who literally actively goes
Yeah.
out, who in their right mind? And this is the beauty and the horror of emergency responders and veterans to me. You are among the 1% for a reason, because you guys are a little bit crazy. Like, you'll go into crazy situations and put your life at risk just to save people that you will never even meet. So how do you make the decision to go into the world of bombs?
Well, I did that in the Navy because I'll tell you the story. I joined the Navy not knowing I got, it's not like a huge act of patriotism. I got thrown out of college and fired from 2 jobs. But at a young age, I had the discussion with myself that my way was not working.
Sure.
And we know people our age that now are still knuckleheads because they can't see that they're the problem.
Yeah.
So I had to make a change, and a week later I was in boot camp, and I had boxed in the New York City Golden Gloves. I ran track in college. So physically, I weighed 125 pounds, but I was like, I could do 30 pull-ups like nothing. So I took the test to be a SEAL and crushed it. And they were like blown away by that. Again, I weighed 125 pounds. So
last time I weighed that, I was in my mother's womb.
Right.
So just to clarify.
Yeah, I had just fought in the Golden Gloves. I was actually overweight. I fought at 119.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was 24. So the EOD guy, the bomb disposal guy in the Navy, was at boot camp, saw me kill the test, and he came up to me and he said, okay, none of us saw that coming. That was impressive. But you're going to get cold at buds. And you're a tough guy, but you get hypothermia, and that's it. Now, I was a surfer from Long Island. I always got cold.
Yeah.
So he was right.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, what do you guys do? And he says, we blow shit up, we shoot guns, we jump out of helos. He goes, the SEALs stay in tents out in the field or hang hammocks. We stay in hotel rooms. I said, okay, I'll do that. So my whole career decision is based on not being cold. But trust me, I had my nights of cold and wet and hammocks and all that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you must have had some scary moments in this field, huh?
I've been shot at. I drove through Afghanistan, probably the most dangerous thing I ever did. I drove from Herat back to Kabul, but I had to go up through Mazar-e Sharif and back around and drove through the desert. I was told it was paved the whole way.
It was not?
It was not. After about about 10 clicks, it turned into like the horse, like the movie, the song, The Horse with No Name. I'm serious, it really resonates. When I hear that song, it brings me right back.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was 4 days of holy shit. And I was with 2 Nepalese security guards and a Nepalese cook. So they were my security. And a guy pulled up on a motorcycle. He was coming across the desert on a motorcycle, and I could see I had a set of big eyes. I could see he had an AK with him, and I'm like, holy shit. So I say to these 2 guys, I said, set up a perimeter and put a round in the chamber. And I got a little focused. I was a little out of training, so I'm walking towards this guy. I draw down on him, I chambered around, I'm draw down on the guy, and he stops, and I said, take your weapon off. So I'm walking towards him. And I look back, and the 2 guys they won't get out of the truck.
Come on.
I thought they got my back, we're good. So I'm like, holy shit. And it turns out, so the cook speaks a little Dari. He was Nepalese. And the guy was like, I'm a cop. You're about to go the wrong way. If you go over this way, there's an outpost, and we'll set you up with people going to Maimini, which was the next town.
Here you are ready to
I
take
almost
out
did
the guy.
Totally almost did that guy. Yeah, that was crazy.
Let's talk about a good day.
Anytime you blow shit up, it's a good day. But like pulling landmines out of the ground is pretty cool.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit here and drink whiskey.
Yeah.
But God bless you, man.
Well, thank you.
Well, man, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good
Guys,
to see you.
The whole idea behind this, again, is to humanize the men and women behind the uniforms, behind the badges. And so it takes you 2 seconds to hit that damn share button. These are great stories, and it helps us to sort of take back control here in America of that narrative. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting that share button. God bless America.